On this episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast, we have an awesome guest, David Astronaut, who has got, 7 2 Club awards, built multiple 8-figure businesses, and has generated well over $250 million in revenue for his companies and clients. We dive into an ad that absolutely killed it, had, a 250x return on ad spend, an ad that just did not do well, with David being featured in it, of course, and kind of how David sees his business when it comes to company culture, company morale, and this, an awesome way to kind of really, feed off your team's energy and, having more collaboration versus competition. Make sure to tune in. This one's juicy. You're not going to want to miss it.
One of the things that, as I said, I built multiple 8-figure businesses, right? We've got clients who've done multiple 8 figures. I joked earlier about the gray hair, whether it's gray hair or wisdom. When someone comes to us and they say, hey, I really want to grow my business. And I say, how much do you want me involved? Or how much do you want us involved? And they said, well, what are the options? I said, we can run your traffic. We can run your funnels. We can look at things just on a return on ad spend.
You're listening to the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast, where we break down the financial principles that rich advertisers are deploying today to turn advertising into profit and get tons of traffic to their websites without killing their cash. These advertisers, agencies, affiliates, brands are responsible for managing over $1 billion a year in ad spend. You'll hear about what's working for them today, their rich ads, and we'll roast their epic failures and crappy ads on the internet with poor ads. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast. This is your host, Zach Johnson, and I'm with the one and only Dylan Carpenter. You excited about today's guest, Dylan?
Yeah, man, I am pumped. This is going to be a juicy one, y'all.
Yeah, man, this guy's been around for a while. He's the founder of Business Nitrogen. He's really the highest award-winning ClickFunnels certified consultant and has not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 Club awards that have exceeded 7 figures in revenue, plus an 8-figure award. Guy's done, maybe $250 million in sales across all his clients, and was formerly one of the top business coaches with the late Chet Holmes and current Tony Robbins. So I'm excited to have David on. I think over the last, he said 12, 24 months, they've managed over 24 million in media and ad spend for their clients. But this guy, David, is also a full stack marketing, sales, and finance machine. He really goes in and works with his clients across their entire business. And I would say of the thousands of agencies that we work with at Funnel Dash, David and his relationship with his clients, I think, is just like so much deeper, so much more intimate than most people at the service that are either just managing media or just optimizing funnels. So I'm excited to get into it. What do you think, David? You ready to rock and roll? You ready to rock and roll? Good, man. Well, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I want to hear what's the latest. All right, because you've been around, you've got a ton of cred, but like, what's happening in your world right now that you're excited about?
Dude, I'm excited about a lot of things. So you're asking the wrong person. I've got shiny object syndrome, so I get a new thing every day. So one of the interesting things that when this whole COVID thing hit, it was really a good time to sit back and reflect and say, what do we do really well? And how can we serve people on a higher level than we are right now? And so we've actually gone deeper with our clients. We're bringing on more clients where we're basically their virtual chief revenue officer, their chief marketing team. Now, when we do that, are we running traffic? Yes, I have my team that you've heard me talk about that I think they're absolutely amazing. They're very gifted on running traffic. So we run their traffic. We do their marketing funnels. But where we do something a little bit different is we help them combine their online lead gathering to their online sales and their offline sales. I'll give you an example. I have one client that came to us in February and was traveling around the world building their software company, just speaking and whatnot. And they knew that they're going to have to change their model. I said, "What's your year end goal?" And they said, "I want to hit 1 million by December 31st." I said, "Okay, we can do that." They said, "Are you sure you can do that?" And I said, "I highly believe that we could do this." Now, in less than 90 days, they got their 2 Comma Club award.
Ooh.
And we're now doing about 150, well, maybe $200,000. Well, last month, this month, we may do 300,000. Okay. So why? Because we're not just doing their sales. I help are doing their online traffic. We're getting involved in all aspects of their business. He
Yeah.
called me his business mentor, because not because I have gray hair, because what we actually do is, let's look at the strategies of your team. How are you going to make your business scalable? Right now, you've been able to get to a certain level with everything coming through you. How do you put the systems and processes and the right team members in place so you can be the visionary entrepreneur and help really scale this to that 8 figures and beyond on an annual basis? And so that's just one example. I have a lot of examples of clients like that. So what am I excited about? I love serving our clients and hearing the success stories. Just this week alone, I have three clients who wrote letters to us saying how happy they are with our team and how our team's serving them at all different levels. And I've got, for my CMOs working with them on their funnels, my ad team's working with them on the ads. My VP of sales is working with them to create their sales process internally. So
Yeah.
when we do it, we're doing things differently.
That's awesome, man.
Plus, I have a dozen companies that I own that my agency does work for, which I'm excited about those too.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I feel like any of the agencies listening, I feel like they all aspire to have a model like yours, David, where you get some equity participation, you get revenue share participation, you do the retainer model right, and you really don't mess with the clients that aren't willing to give you enough retainer that's going to allow you to properly invest into the marketing campaigns and the funnels that ultimately they need to succeed. I feel like a lot of, folks really flip, in the agency space, they really flip it, right? It's like, yeah, I've got some clients, that are like 3 to 5K a month. And then I've got like one or two that pay me like 10, 20K. And they're always just striving for those, right? But with you, you're just like, hey man, like this is what we need to really do well for you. And if you can't do that, then we're not going to do well. And it's not a fit, right? And it's just so black and white for you in terms of a starter. So I think the newer agencies listening to the show have a lot to learn from you. But that being said, you also, on the other side, have a broad reach in terms of what's working right now on media and campaigns and funnels. So I want to hear about this rich ad campaign. You ready to dive into it, Dylan?
Yeah, man. I got to pull up on my end. So it's 237 ROAS. That's pretty good. Pretty aggressive.
I'm looking at the ones that they gave you. I've got okay, they gave you. I've got a 237. I've got a 47. I didn't know which ones they gave you. Yeah.
You had so many. You're trying to keep track of what the winning rich ad here is that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, cool. Yeah. So, I mean, just beautiful blue color here. That is just the starkest red and blue. Yeah. Read that out, Dylan. Break it down for us.
Sweet. So we got, ROAS 237. So it looks like he spent around $200 here. So definitely a smaller spend, but when it comes to that actual return, 20 to 30K, super juicy. Key part here, this was sent to a very warm audience. So being retargeting makes sense there. Now, what made you kind of have this type of ad for retargeting, David? It's kind of more long copy. Got some solid links up in here. So what made this ad work so well kind of to these warmer audiences? Because I'm sure you had a nice cold ad that kind of you would warmed them up nicely to get prepped for this bad boy.
Well, if you look at it, it's not just the ads. And that's one of the big things that I think that we have to explain to clients. They're like, we just need the ad to work. We need the ad to go to a landing page and people just buy. And so when we're talking about someone who's really warm, we may have a nurture sequence for 12 to 14 before we're just adding value, adding value, adding value. Someone may have bought something earlier and not upgraded. And instead of letting them fall off, we're nurturing them and adding value, 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 value. So, I want everyone, even on, I'd rather someone do 4 weeks of value before they actually offer anything. So this one happens to be a client that their initial offer, their smallest initial offer is about $1,000. Their high
Mm.
end ticket is $10,000. So when you look at why, why did it work? When I don't know why everything works. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why everything works. One of the things we had when before we went live here is we do a lot of message testing, right? So one of the things that we do up front before we launch something like this campaign out, is we will just take a piece of, we'll create messages on something that looks like a tissue or a napkin or toilet paper. Seriously, that plain
Mm.
and simple. And we'll find out what messages work. And then we'll take those exact messages and we'll put them with an image. And then we do a lot of long form copy. I see long form copy working very well, especially if you put it with the right emojis, the right images. And all this is a smiley lady with a $295 something there.
Gift
And
card.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a gift card. So
Mhm.
it's the curiosity that there's not a lot of words, but you see in gold there, $295 gift card. So it creates that curiosity when someone says, use this private link and go there. So if you've already gotten this program, you're going to love this program. I'm going to give you $295 to invest in another program with us. So it's basically, we appreciate you. We're giving back to you. And I think that that's why it worked. And I say think because just like anything, I believe that we don't know. We have to test a lot of headlines. We have to test a lot of images in order to find out what works.
Mm.
I mean, that sense of scarcity is right there. I mean, shoot, only available to the end of the month. Don't delay or end of the day. Shoot, man, I'd be ready to convert. You know.
You would be ready to convert if you were if this client, if you were following this person and you love them and they gave you a $295 gift card to invest. Yeah, you probably would use it because it's only available for the next 10 days, the next 30 days. We use a lot of deadline funnel. So that way, when someone opts in and it has a countdown timer, it will follow them through the emails. It will follow them to the next funnel. And you know, so many people try to just refresh and take that link and put it in a new browser. Well, if you use a system like Deadline Funnel, you can't do that.
Now,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. When it comes to the emojis, is this something y'all do across the board for all the clients, or it's something you kind of test, include when with the messaging testing, or y'all just kind of emoji people in the ads, more or less?
I'm not an emoji person, so it must be whichever copywriter of mine is writing it. So, um, to answer your question, we test the different ads with emojis and without, and a lot of times we may not like emojis. I mean, think about this. As a guy, we were like, "Huh," but guess what? It points right here. If you think about it, that ad right here, it has that like the finger pointing to it twice in a row. Use this link. So why do you use if you use emoji selectively to say, I want to point out this one thing. I want someone's eyes to go here. Remember this. I've been to Facebook's office multiple times, and one of the things and Instagram. And one of the things they talk about is people are scrolling through, 300 plus feet per day on a daily basis.
Mm.
You have to have
Wow.
something that's going to be thumb stopping. That's it. That's all they talk about is thumb
Mhm.
stopping content. And if we think about a long form message, hey, Jumpstart friends, and then we scroll down, it's not open to the public. So guess what? You're seeing this ad, you're being remarketed because it's something private just for you, because you're an insider, and there's a limited time. I want to give you $295. You want it? Yes, great. Click here, go check it out.
Mm. That's quite a
And
rich ad.
here's the thing: we then know who clicked on that because they're an insider, because they're being tracked. We know that they went to the page, and if they don't buy, we have a whole separate sequence then to follow up with them to create that sense of urgency down to when it closed.
Mm. Woo! I love it.
By the way, this client last year in December, they said we need to do something. We want to do something very special to close out the year. And so we launched out in mid-December a campaign that actually did over 8 figures. It was their best campaign by 2.5 times that they ever did. And it was
Mm.
combining marketing funnels with the ads, with the email marketing together.
This episode is brought to you by Funnel Dash's ad card, the only charge card exclusively for your digital ad spend. And if you're an ad agency that manages 7 or even 8 figures a year in media and ad spend for your clients, and you're looking to double your profits over the next 6 to 12 months, then check out ad card. See, the typical agency model is this. You charge 10% of your spend, you make 10 to 20% margin at the end of the day. So that's really 1 to 2% of your client's spend that is profit in your business. The easiest way to double that is to really find a way to earn in that 1 to 2% cash back of the card that is on file of your client's ad account. And before ad card, what you had to do was invoice all your clients for their ad spend up front, which is really difficult on a cash flow basis and very difficult ask. And then you had to put the card on your own Amex or whatever card of choice to get that level of value back into your business. With ad card, it's entirely different and streamlined. You simply get your clients on ad card and make yourself the agency of record, and you'll get the cash back as long as you're managing the ad spend. It's a great way to double your profit without doing any additional work. Check it out at funneldash.com. All right, David, I want to roast the shitty ad. Let's dive into it for it.
How's that?
Let's totally do that one. Yeah, it's catchy. It's thumb stopping.
But I like the video too. I like the video where the client throwing the books.
I want to hear about this Batman one. I'm not looking at that one. I want to know, how bad did that fail?
How bad did that fail? It failed so bad that if I was a comedian, I'd have a punchline for it. Listen, here's the interesting thing. We came up with an idea spur of the moment, and we joke around a lot. Like everyone in my company is a superhero character, and in my TED talk, I actually went through, who some of the superheroes are in our company, and I joked that I'm Batman. I'm not. I don't joke. I mean, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
And so I did I did a launch last year for something I called Funnel Secrets, and I did some things where I was like a cartoon character version of me as Batman, and it didn't. Let's just say it didn't go very well. It didn't go
Well,
very well.
let's not just say that. Let's say more. Let's say more.
Let's say I invested over $10,000 and got nothing from it. How's that?
I love it. That's saying something.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and I look at it this way. We were talking about this earlier. To me, it was like one of. By the way, what did I learn from it? Change your approach. So I know for a client, I wouldn't have done that. With a client, I'm much more careful with their money, but with mine, I'll put it all on red and throw the dice and say,
You're a degenerate gambler.
Okay. With with clients' money, like we were talking earlier, I'll start at $100 a day. Here's the thing. If it didn't work, it didn't work. Let's change the approach. And actually, I did change the approach. And in less than 2 weeks, had over 700 people sign up with a whole different set of ads. You know what really worked? Me hand holding my phone while I was walking and talking. Me having my video. Actually, this was interesting. My video. I have a tripod, window mount tripod in my car while I was driving, just talking. I wasn't looking at the camera, just talking. I got death threats. I hope you die. You're sitting there doing videos while you're driving.
Oh gosh.
And then I had people defending me. So that we got over 700 people signed up in less than a couple of weeks, changing the approach, changing the offer, and it worked. But Batman sucked.
Sucked. It would have made you so cool though.
No, here's the funny thing. All my friends said, "Oh my gosh, I love your advertising. It's so cool. You must be crushing it." I'm like, "No, we're not."
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Scale it up. Scale it up.
Yeah. Yep. All right, man. So I want to dive into this next segment. David, you're one of the few folks that I know that even mentions the word reviewing P&L when it comes to their client relationship. Okay. So you're the first guest on the show that is actually having that conversation. And first, I want to know, like, how does that even work? Do you wait for your clients to like send you a P&L? Do they just like copy you on all those? Like, how do you have that level of trust to where you sign on a client, you're like, yes, I need all your financial statements. Like, walk us through that, because on this show we're really trying to bridge the gap here between marketing and finance, and there's a ton of marketers that are doing their marketer math and they're rounding up to the nearest million, and when you're looking at a P&L, like that's the source of truth. So how do you get that level of detail from your clients?
Well, that's part of the front end process and who we're attracting as a client. So when someone's coming to us, they're most of the time they're not looking at us just to run ads for them. So if someone's just looking at us to run ads, I'm probably not even involved myself. My team's involved. I've got 21 people on my team. I may never even be on a phone call with them. However, most of the people who come to us saying, "I'm looking to grow my business." I've looked around, and one of the things that, I mean, as I said, I built multiple 8-figure businesses, right? We've got clients who've done multiple 8 figures. I joked earlier about the gray hair, whether it's gray hair or wisdom. When someone comes to us and they say, "Hey, I really want to grow my business," and I say, "How much do you want me involved? Or how much do you want us involved?" And they said, "Well, what are the options?" I said, "We can run your traffic. We can run your funnels. We can look at things just on a return on ad spend, or we can act as your virtual chief revenue officers or your virtual CMO. We call it virtual CMO or CRO package. And with that, I'm getting together with the CEO, just, you know, man to man, woman to man.
Mano y mano.
I was going to say, how do I say the woman too?
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're looking at, everything that's involved. I have a client that we grew to, they wanted to go direct. They had an offer, and everyone was telling them, you can't go direct to sell. And it was a home exercise product. And we scaled that. We were able to increase the cart conversions, go from like 7% to over 25% cart conversions, be able to scale the ads. And we're still not making money. And I'm like, how can you not be making money at 3 to 4 times return on ad spend? Like, well, let's look at your books. Are you willing to sit down with your books? And then that's all of a sudden we said, where the waste is happening, where the manufacturing processes can be improved. If you think about it, when someone goes to talk to a shark on Shark Tank and they ask, well, what's your cost for the product? Well, I can help you get it manufactured at X price. I can help with your efficiencies there. So when a client is coming to us on something like that, it's because we have the ability to look at their business on a 360-degree viewpoint and look at all angles. Let's find some blind spots. Let's look at some opportunities for improvement. Let's look at some budget reallocation. I'll give you an example. I have a client that's over $60 million a year business.
Yeah.
They are a brick and mortar with over 80 locations. And one of the things that we did before we got them, we worked on a relationship for over a year.
Yeah.
And then we signed in February. And we started doing a test, and we were able to get a conversion lift of about 30% on a funnel that we launched. And then COVID hit and they had to shut down their locations. And so one of the things that happened during that time frame was we sat down and I had a conversation with the founder and CEO, and he said, "I'm so sorry." And I said, "Why are you apologizing to me? You don't have any control over this." And he said, "We'll just pick it back up when it's over." I said, "No, we're not." I said, "We have a standing call on Mondays. I'll see you next Monday." He's like, "But I can't pay you." And I said, "I understand that. I'll see you next Monday." He says, I
Mm.
just need some time to clear. I said, okay, you've got 1 week off. I'll see you in 2 Mondays. And he said, really? And so for the next 2 months, we met every Monday. And then all of a sudden I said, let me ask you this question. If you could wave a magic wand and make your business all over again better, what would your business look like? And he
Mm.
talked to me about the culture that he wanted to bring back because it got lost over time. He talked to me about the efficiency and communication within the team and the operations. He talked to me about what he would want the marketing team to operate like and how it would communicate with the operations. And so I said, great, let's craft that company. He said, what do you mean? I said, let's craft that company. And we sat down and we re engineered his entire business. Then he brought in another executive in his company, and then he brought in
Mm.
a CFO. And then we created a 60-day launch plan before opening. Okay. And Matt, I ended up meeting with him every day. I didn't have time of day, so I said, "Will you meet me? I have to meet you at 6 a.m. Can we meet? I'll meet you at 6 a.m. every day." So for 3 weeks straight, I met them at 6 a.m. every day, re-engineering their entire business so we could open up with a launch. And then he had me present this to his board of directors. He
Wow.
had me present it. Okay. So when you talk
Wow.
about trust, I think that if someone's having you present a plan to their board of directors, you build that kind of relationship. So why? There's something that my my grandfather told me this when I first got involved I was in corporate America before I became an entrepreneur. My grandfather told me this. If you want to be really successful, treat everyone that you work for as if it's your business. But if
Hmm.
you want to know, Dylan and Zach, why I think that people do that is when I'm spending their money, I'm actually treating it better than I do my own money, as you heard, because
It's very obvious. Yes,
yeah,
it's very obvious, Batman.
yeah, Um, I'll treat their money as if I should be treating my own.
That's a nice anecdote. Yeah, as if I should.
I'm being honest, right?
That's so good.
And so that went really well. And they're like, fantastic. And what's happened is we've implemented that plan now. And actually, what they decided to do is slim down and who they were going to bring back off furlough on their team. And their team is actually working with my team cohesively as if it's one team because it is one team.
Yeah,
And so, why? Because when we have if you bring someone in as a true partner, and you're working together to accomplish goals, you can
yeah.
accomplish great things if everyone's focused, if everyone's rowing in the same direction. My son used to row
Hmm.
through. If one person is not rowing, that boat is not going to
Yeah,
win.
yeah,
We all
yeah.
have to row in the exact same direction and working cohesively where we're looking at their financials, where we're looking at where there's opportunities improvement, when we're looking at blind spots, we can achieve that.
Yeah, I love that level of detail, man, and that level of care. It's true white glove right there, man. Congrats. I want to give you a little shout out here, David, because you were talking about your team for a second. Being in the agency business, it requires great salesmanship, great care for your clients, but it is ultimately it is you're in the people business and you are arbitraging talent like it's crazy, and you have a great eye for talent, and you're a great arbitrager of talent. There's some people that don't have as much leverage on the talent that they have on their team. And I feel like your strategy and the systems that you put in place, as well as the people that you have on, is it's it's obvious, even from the outside, that the way that you run your client business, your agency, your consultancy, it's obvious from the outside looking in that it's much and far more profitable than the industry average. The industry average for ad agencies is a 10% profit margin, like maybe 15%. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, that's the average, for an agency is doing either 7 or 8 figures a year, because they uh, they don't put as much time and energy into sourcing, that talent. So I could go into it and
I can tell you
a ton
one.
more.
I can tell you one secret. Would you like it?
Yeah, I love secrets.
Okay.
I'm yes, I'm
So
a sucker.
we have, there's two things. One is every Monday, everyone in the company comes on a call at 10 a.m. and we have a company culture meeting. We go through our core values. I go through them and ask everyone, what are our core values? And I popcorn, what does P stand for? What does R stand for? What does E stand for? What does it mean to you in your day-to-day work? And then I teach something. So it could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. And I'll go through and I'll teach a concept that I want them to focus in on and think about that week. Okay. How are we going to collaborate? Because it's all about collaboration. It's not competition. We're there working together. And then we have something, and I learned it from a good friend of mine, Chris Tuff. He's wrote a book called The Millennial Whisperer. Now, I don't have all millennials, but in one of there, he has an agency. It's one of the oldest agencies in the Southeast United States. He's an executive there, and he runs these things called snaps. And what we do is we give snaps and we read out the testimonials of the letters that clients say, thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Thank you so much, Bob. I mean, Anna, et cetera. And then we go through and say, who on our team created these amazing results and what are they? So we share that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we share that. And then what we do at the end of the quarter, the people who have the most snaps get a bonus. So.
Okay. Yeah. So that's awesome. That's motivating. I think you're also a great identifier of talent too. Like it's not just like curating it and cultivating your culture, but you also, your numbers, what your client value is, and you are like, I would almost like, you're almost like a sniper of like arbitrage talent. Like you find like just great people that do, good work. And
I think that's important. I mean, it
is the business. It is the entire, it's,
thing. I don't have, knock on wood, I don't have a lot of turnover. And one of the things that I look for in people that are looking for a long-term opportunity, they're looking for their work family. And I learned this from my grandfather. He had people, I used to say, well, this person's lazy. I think that they're lazy. And this was me as a 6, 7-year-old kid telling my grandfather in his business. And he said, I understand that you could feel that way, but I can trust this person. They're loyal. I can trust them with my money. I can trust them with my patience. And, so I balance everything. I want a level talent that cares and that will go to the end of the earth for our clients.
There you have it, man. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest. Tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on right now and how they can get in touch.
Well, if you want to check us out, you can go to businessnitrogen.com, businessnitrogen.com. We are, as you heard today, a full service agency. So we do everything that we do has marketing funnels involved. So we look at the traffic to the funnels, to the conversion rate optimization, to the email marketing to build that relationship, to just building your business. We've got some new things that we're launching out right now. For some smaller companies, I'm not involved. It's a project my team created. I've got a friend of mine who actually had an agency, had a multi-7-figure agency, closed it and merged this project in, and she's our lead on that. We're calling it Leads on Demand. It's just for someone who may have a budget of $2,500 a month, someone that we normally wouldn't have been able to bring on. We're now doing that. We've got a whole crew of people that are focused just on that. And it's an inexpensive lead generation funnel because before, most of our clients are, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000 a month type clients that we're working with. Now, for the smaller companies that want to be able to get involved, we created that new product. But
nice.
A lot of fun things.
I love it. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast. If you're like me and listen to podcasts on the go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and richadpoorad.com/podcast. And if you absolutely love the show, go ahead and leave a review and a comment, share with a friend. If you do, Take a copy, screenshot of it, email me, zach@funneldash.com, show me you left a review, and I'll give you a free copy of the Rich Ad Poor Ad book. To learn more about the book, go to richadpoorad.com. To leave a review, go to richadpoorad.com/review. Thanks again.